Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is Spider-Man, a new Golgari deck featuring some of the new cards from the latest set that is spider-themed. We're bringing some old friends along with the new men, as well as a touch of discard to keep the opponent off balance. We've got some utility cards to help at various points during a game, early as well as late. Let's get in there. We're playing the full set of Duress, an excellent discard spell that we'll use to snipe removals or sweepers right out of their hand. There's plenty of other cards we can grab right out of their hand, but those are the ones we'll be looking for. If they have trouble dealing with our men, we'll likely be able to get them. The Terminus of Return is a fantastic new artifact. It has indestructible, so it should be able to stick around for the duration of most games. It's a 2-mana rock that ramps us to our pricier cards, and late in the game, we can harness its final ability. For 7 mana, we can tap it, and at the beginning of each of our turns, we get to return one of our men from our grave right back to the battlefield. Just when they thought they handled our men, they come back for more. Virus Beetle is a discard artifact creature. It might be small, but it's good enough to block up bigger men and help us avoid damages. Later in the game, we have some pump that can make the beetle big enough to get in for damages. Mosswood Dreadknight is a solid card in any Golgari deck. It can be card draw or an early body that can get in for hits. If it does die, we can replay it for card draw before getting it back on our board. It makes an excellent blocker while we wait for more powerful cards to arrive. Luis, the Pompous Pillager, is one of the new men. This guy is a gain and drain combo all by himself. By paying as much mana as we can drain the opponent and get a decent-sized lifelink body on board. In a deck where we look to get in for damages turn after turn, Luis could be what we need to dish out the final damages. Rhilex the Accursed is a body that comes with some card draw at the cost of 1 life per card. He does have flash, so we can leave mana up, and if the opponent uses a removal, we can bring him in to take advantage of one of our men going to an early grave. He does have menace, so he's better able to get in for damages. The House Grows Hungry is a removal saga that snipes an enemy when we play it out. The following turn it asks for a discard, and if the discard is refused, the refusing player loses 3 life. It does affect us as well, but if the opponent doesn't have any cards in hand, they take 3. And on its last turn, it'll exile the opponent's grave as well as our own if we choose. It's a great way to ensure the opponent can't get any men or any cards from their grave. The Scouring Stormsoul is a potentially big guy that can bring himself back from the grave for 5 mana. And when he comes back, he also comes back with a land to help boost his own stats. At 3 mana, he can come down early and grow with every land we get in play. The Space Tapeworm is here as well. It usually gets sniped as soon as it enters play, but with our discard, we hope to be able to eliminate their removals. If it remains on board for several turns, the men we have will be serious threats to any life total. Zan, Tunnelweb Explorer, is ramp that comes with a body. It does have N-Web, which means we can return one of our tapped men and pay only the N-Web cost to get it in play. We can return a Virus Beetle or even a Luis for a second go-around. More discard is fine, but the drain and gain from Luis will bring a new round of pain while propping up our own life total. Through the Omenpath is a big powerful enchantment. It does have a big price tag, but with Convoke we can get it down earlier if we have men on board that can help pay for some of its cost. For the 8 mana investment, we get to look at the top 5 cards of our deck at the beginning of each of our attacks and put one of our men right into play. This can easily help us flood the board with some of our powerful men. For lands, we're playing 3 Fabled Passage, the special land we can sacrifice to fetch out any basic land from our deck. 4 Wastewood Verge, the forest that becomes a dual when we have a swamp or forest in play. 3 Restless Cottage, the Golgari man land that turns into a 4/4 horror when we activate it. 5 Forest, 2 Evendo, Waking Haven, the planet land that can give us a green mana for every one of our men we have in play, but only after we station 12 power worth of men. And 7 Swamps. Playing the deck is fairly straightforward. Our early turns are about setting up with a Terminus or hitting the opponent with discard to limit their options. A Dreadknight can get us some early draw, or pressure depending on what the opponent is doing. A surprise Rhilex can get us more draw in response to an opponent's removal, or even if we're blocking with one of our smaller men. Luis is unique in that we can play him out early for a small lifelinker, or we can save him for a late game gain and drain. We're not loaded with removal, so be careful when using the House Grows Hungry to take out an enemy. An Ouroboroid, along with some of our other men, can create a powerful army that can take on most enemies. An Omenpath can end up giving us the manpower to smash an opposing life total. Take advantage of a Terminus to get our men back from the grave and always press with our growing team. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Knob Block. No wait, it's Cobra Kai. No wait, it's Cublay. We're kicking things off with a 4-lander that's got some of our early plays. Keep your pants. Going first gives us the chance to hit them with the first turn Duress everyone dreams of. All they have that we can take is a Sheltered by Ghosts, but another benefit of sniping cards out of their hand is we get to see what they're up to. This is a Monolife gain deck they're playing. Next up, we'll hit them with the Virus Beetle. They'll have to toss another card, but this time they get to choose. That was a Pridemate that got tossed out. That's one less we have to worry about. Surprise, surprise. They drop in a Pridemate. We'll play out the Scouring Stormsoul. It's already a 3/3 and can only get bigger from here on out. They go with Linden. It'll gain them a life, but only if they send it. Which they do. Their Pridemate will get a little bigger, but will block up and trade. Our Stormsoul will come back from the grave, but their guy won't be so lucky. We draw a Terminus, we'll play it out, then follow up with the Dreadknight. We'll skip on the draw this time. All Pridemates have been accounted for. There are 2 on board and 2 in the grave. They send in Linden, but once again we'll block up and trade. Our knight can come back, while their men can't return as easily. We'll go for the draw this time, then play out the knight. They seem to be stuck on how to proceed. We love to see that. They drop in an Exemplar, it'll grow when they gain life, and it draws them a card once per turn when it gets a counter. Add in Evasion, and it's a monster that has to be dealt with quickly. The Pridemates come in and we'll block up. Maybe it's me, but trading away men might have been a bad idea for them. We draw a Swamp, but we'll play out the Evendo, which will let us tap the Beetle to station it. Then we can play out Zen with N-Web. The Beetle will get to come back on a later turn for more discard action. Then we can follow up with Draw from the Knight. They seem to have seen enough and get out of town. GG's, no cheese needed. This is Justine Viable. No, wait, it's Beatable. Justine, Beatable. We get a 3-lander this time with a Beetle, and the rest are 3 drops. Can't argue against that. Keep. Bro is going to waste all this time, hoping we give up, maybe? They too are on Golgari. We're just not sure what their game plan is going to be. It's going to be one of those players can't decide on a game action until they've milked the clock. They're looking at the Beetle like it's new. It's been around since Kamigawa, bro. Come on. The drop in a Sentinel, it could potentially run the table for a bit, but we do have a removal in hand. We will snipe the Sentinel, then send the Beetle in for damages. You can't win a game hoping the opponent hits themselves. They drop in a second Sentinel. Lucky for us, we don't have any more removals. We'll go ahead and toss the Stormsoul. It can get itself out of the grave and bring a land with it as well. The opponent, on the other hand, takes the 3. They use a map token, and that gets them a land. Then they manually tap their Smelf for mana to use the second map token, and that reveals a strategic betrayal. Instead of keeping it, they toss it in the grave. Lucky for us, because we have a guy in the grave we'd like to be able to get back. They drop in a demon wall, so they might be on Golgari demon unless this is some weird brew. They send in their pumped-up Sentinel, but we'll take the opportunity to play out our Rhilex. With him on board, we can block with the Beetle, and that will give us an extra draw. We might as well use every advantage we can. We'll pay the 5 mana to get our Stormsoul on board. It'll be big enough to hold off their men while we set up for a big Luis. They hit us with Strategic Betrayal, and that will be the end of our Rhilex. They use a map token to try to pump their wall, but they get a land instead. All they can do is send in the Sentinel for damages while they still can. The wall finally does get some pump. That's a removal on top. And they are not keeping it. Before we do anything, let's get in there for damages. Let's see if they want to trade or chump away some of their men. They take the hit like it was only 1 or 2 damages. That was a 7 spot, bro. Before we go with the Knight, let's play out the Terminus. Then we'll draw with the Knight. We hit on a Duress and we'll fire it off. Let's see what they've got. That's a handful of removals. We'll take out a Strategic Betrayal. Then we can follow up with the Knight. Our bro is a big thinker. Their brain is so massive they had to develop huge neck muscles to hold their head up. They hit our Stormsoul with a removal and take 3 to the face to do so. The Knight would have been next, but they're out of black mana. All they can do now is send it. Sure, we'll take the hit. Imagine slow playing through most of a game and taking 25 minutes to play it out, only to end up losing. GG's, bro. Extra Louis cheese. From here, all we have to do is drop in Louis for the exact amount we need. This is Hark mad, he's angry already, and the game hasn't started yet. We get a 3-lander with a decent mix of cards. We do have a pair of men, which we hope can hold us up while we draw into more weapons. Dear Mother of God, is that a 2,000 card deck? We're not too worried about their removals. The robbery is outrageous, and something we don't want to see get fired off at any point this game. We draw a beetle, and we already hurt them once, so let's hurt them again. Strike while the iron is hot. They hit us with the heist and give us a card draw. Anything but Luis, that guy is a monster. They must have heard us and take the beetle. They drop in our beetle and we'll have to toss a card. We'll drop a land, we've got 2 of those anyways. At the end of their turn, we'll play out Rhilex. He's always on time, like a Rolex. We draw a tapeworm, and that will be our play, right after we fetch out a 2nd green mana. With the pump, we can send everyone in for damages. They fire off a split up and take out our tapeworm. Luckily, our Rolex will give us a replacement draw. We get a Duress, and we'll use it to take out one of their removals. Wait, their hand is all removals. The breaker could potentially be used to gain life, so we'll snipe that. We'll follow up with a small Luis, but at this point, we need all the power on board we can muster. Unless they draw a land, they can only fire off 1 removal per turn, which might not be enough to keep them in the game. They fire off a Get Lost, then Poop It and Scoop It. GG's. Extra cheese. This is Dust Devil. He's a whirlwind of dust, somewhat warm air, and hopes and dreams. We get a 3-lander with a Duress and a couple of powerful men. The removal is a bonus. Keep your pants on. First turn Duress always hits so good. Let's see what they got. That looks like ramp into dropping some big men. They smelf it up. But we already know what they're up to. We draw another Duress, and that will take care of their 2nd surprise. There will be none of those this game. The dew impending out their green overlord, but that will take some time before it can get to doing us any damage. They have a loot and some big beefy men in hand. We'll pass the turn and see what's what. They play out a Bloomkin, a guy that gets bigger with every land they have. They think the coast is clear and send their Smelf, but he's about to Smelf some trouble up in here. Let's play out our Rolex and let them know what time it really is. We draw a beetle, and that will be our play. Let's take another card out of their hand, and we'll have an effective blocker that we can trade in for another card if they send it. We draw a land, and it's time for our tapeworm to get in there. Pump the team, bro. Pump the team. they don't send anything. They're using the all-important wait-and-see strategy. Their green overlord comes online, we'll play out our removal and snipe their overlord. If they want additional lands, they'll have to draw them. The pump this time is excellent, and we can send in our Rhilex. We'll station the Beetle. That gets us very close to unlocking the full potential of our planet. We'll pass on the discard and take the 3. The opponent, on the other hand, tosses out a card. With this round of pump, our men have gotten too big to handle. Let's send in the Rhilex and the Beetle. To my surprise, they take the damages. They didn't even get to see us play out Luis. GG's, extra team pump cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.